What are the must-haves for the Cardinals during draft week? What are the nice-to-haves for the Cardinals during draft week? And should the Cardinals exploring trading Jalen Thompson? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're getting close, man. We're getting close. 72 hours-ish until we get to hear what the Cardinals are going to do at 16, what the Cardinals are going to do in the second round, maybe move back into the first round, what they're going to do, on, day 2, day 3. Man, it's going to be super exciting in so many different ways because we are going to get the clarity that everybody has been yearning for since Monty Osborne took over at the end of the 2022 season. We're going to get the roster clarity. What the path is, what the tiers are, elder statesmen, vets, then the stars who are younger, then the tertiary stars, like Marvin Harrison Jr., guys like that. And then this rookie class, we're going to see what the next 5-7 years of this team is going to look like. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And it's something that, as I mentioned yesterday, you can go into this draft trusting that Monty Osborne will do more good than bad for this team. And that is a foreign topic, conversation, thing that exists for this team, over the last however long. So going into it, you got to feel confident that the Cardinals are going to make the right choices. They're going to go for it where they can. They're going to be, a little bit more patient in other spots. But, these 3 days are going to be fantastic for the Cardinals. I have a really good feeling about it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do what the must-haves are position-wise for the Cardinals. Doesn't matter where they are. We're going to go general. We're not going to go in order. Not going to go list, hunting with everybody today. And then the second would be nice-to-haves, position groups, nice-to-haves. And the Cardinals only have, 6 picks. So it'll be interesting to see if 3 in the first segment, 3 in the second segment all get checked, or if one is doubled down on, whatever it may be. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And then with that, is it worth exploring Jaylen Thompson in a trade? I'm going to give the numbers on the contract, if they cut him, if they trade him, what the cap space implications are going to be, and just discuss if it's worth trading him for what they'd get back. And if it's worth trading him for what he brings to the team still, even though Dadrian Taylor-Demerson is looking to be that strong safety that is going to supplant Jalen Thompson, especially with what we saw from him in, spots last year with DTR, DTD. What am I saying? DTR. Yikes. Wrong team. If he's ready to rip, or if that means they would draft another safety. Safety's been kind of a position that has kind of been an afterthought. Budda Baker's been there. Jalen Thompson's been good. He took a step back last year. So we'll see. I'll talk about that in the third segment. But I'll tell you what, I am more excited going into this draft, I think, than I have been in my time hosting this podcast because there's actual expectations now. And they've got their picks. They're in a good spot in a deep starter draft to where they can do whatever they want. But what are the must-haves for this team? And again, this is in no particular order. The must-haves for me are offensive line, pass rush, and defensive tackle. Oh, no, sorry. Offensive line, pass rush, and corner. I apologize. I was looking at my list and my eyes crossed. The must-haves, offensive line, pass rush, corner. And offensive line, if you watch this show for 3 minutes over the last month, 2 months, you know that I think that offensive line should be the pick at 16, or if they were to trade back into the first round, you can get one in the first round. A first-round offensive lineman, I think, is the first thing off the list, okay? And then when you look at pass rush, you can never have too many pass rushers. That's first. Number two, it's a premium position that gets very expensive after the rookie contract. And if you can find a guy that pops, especially in the system, surrounded by guys like Josh Sweat, guys like Baron Browning, and even though Baron Browning's not a superstar, he's a vet. He's a good pass rusher. And you have a defense that's put together by Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rowlis. It is a very, very good and safe place for a rookie to come in and play where he's not drafted to save the pass rush room with the moves the Cardinals have made this offseason. And I think that's a great place for, a young pass rusher to be in. Whether that's in the second round, in the third round, even if they take an edge rusher in the first round at 16, I discussed yesterday, that's starting to become fleeting. We're starting to see the separation, the hierarchy of pass rushers. Jalen Walker, James Pierce, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, were grouped together in the teens. Now Jalen Walker's looked to be a top 10. James Pierce looks to be an end of the first round guy. It's crazy. It's crazy what happens when no football is played and all of this stuff happens. Sure, you've got your pro days, you've got your combines and everything like that, but man, the human mind is a weird, weird place. It's a weird place when groupthink changes the narratives and all this stuff, and it's like, wait, this dude was, what? This dude was top 15 3 weeks ago, and now he's out of the first round. What changed? So it's crazy. So that's one: offensive line, pass rush, and then corner for me, because the Cardinals, just like the defensive line, but on starting from a much higher floor. When I've mentioned, for those that missed, everydayers, you'll know this, the defensive line, I said going to this offseason, they're far off, but a couple moves and they're there. It's not like they need 7 pieces. Now they've got 7 pieces. And Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, Darius Robinson, Dante Stills, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, that's 6. I'm sure they'll add one. I'll talk about that in the next segment. But they've got a lot of dudes to play a couple positions. Okay? So from the cornerback perspective, it's like they're not an elite cornerback room yet, but they're one dude away from being immediately there. So if you can get a Will Johnson at 16, and now he's mocked to go top 12, that you've got the Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas, who's a good consolation prize. I don't know if he's worth 16 for the Cardinals, even though he's a good scheme fit. Like, for me, with that, you look at Garrett Williams, Max Melton, Starling Thomas, who I've severely underproduced as a podcast I was talking about. He's a great rotational piece that keeps that secondary afloat when need be. Sean Murphy-Bunting, we'll see, this is the last year of his deal. And then, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson for now, Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. You add an outside corner to that, you're cooking, and everybody's young. Everybody's young, aside from Budda Baker. Budda Baker is the youngest late 20s corner or safety in football. You're good for a while if you can hit on an outside corner. For a while. So those are the 3 for me. And it's not particularly close for me. Offensive line, naturally, number 1. Protect Kyler Murray. Everything else falls into place. If you don't protect Kyler Murray, none of it will work, regardless of how strong the offense is. If the offensive line is average to below average, you will not win 10-plus games. You won't. It doesn't happen. Unless you're Russell Wilson in the mid-2010s with that Legion of Boom defense and Marshawn Lynch. Terrible offensive line for the majority of the time. Number 2, pass rush. Can never have too many. Very expensive contract, the second contract. If you can find a dude that pops, regardless of what round, you can throw in Xavier Thomas. I haven't brought up in Xavier Thomas yet. You got dudes now. It's not just Zaven Collins and Dennis Gardeck or your edge rushers or your outside backers. Plus, you've got an improved defensive line, which allows more one-on-ones, tackle versus edge, instead of any sort of double team that would happen when Josh Sweat comes in. It keeps opposing offensive lines honest. And then corner really takes the defense to the next level. And then you've got your set and forget cornerback room for the next 5 years. Those are the must-haves for me. What are the nice-to-haves? What are the ones that will bolster this roster but aren't absolutely necessary in an effort to position the Cardinals for, a relevancy push, if you want to call it, in 2025. We'll discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time app. I love the Game Time app. I use it all the time. Whether it's sports, comedy, whatever it is. NBA playoffs, obviously not in Phoenix, but there's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena. And with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 50%. My biggest thing that I talk about in every live read with Game Time is the view from your seat feature. So there's no guessing as to what the vantage point of those seats will be before you pay your hard-earned money to go see a playoff game or whatever it may be. You just click on the section and row, the arena, and you can look from your phone and get a full-on vantage point, panoramic-wise, of what you'll be seeing if you were to purchase those tickets before you purchase the tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price. Guarantee. Do I say that like the alligator from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Garon. I can't. I think it's. Is that it? I don't even know why I say it like that. That's so weird. You do thousands and thousands of live reads. I guess I go into character with some. I have no idea. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. A couple days away from the kickoff of the draft. It's gonna be wildly, wildly entertaining. The nice to haves for the Cardinals, position-wise, in the 2025 draft. The need-to-haves, the must-haves, offensive line, edge, corner. The nice-to-haves, I'll do it right away, the defensive tackle position. Okay, so I understand the theory behind going beef in the middle of the first round. I understand the theory behind it. I understand you build the offensive line, you build the defensive line, and then you build out from there. It's an inside-out offense. I completely understand for basketball. Inside out, okay? I get it. They've also got a lot of dudes, as I mentioned. And it's not just bodies. These guys are vets, okay? Yes, Bilal Nichols and Justin Jones both got hurt last year. Yes, they're making more money than maybe they would have made elsewhere when they signed 2 years ago. And yes, it hasn't hurt the Cardinals one iota in their actual plight back to relevancy. Okay, sure. You would have liked them to be healthy last year. Absolutely. Of course, they haven't had a track record, really, of late, of being unhealthy. So it's not something where you're signing dudes, giving them $30 million and like, oh, you've been hurt the last 3 years. Let's hope this year's different. It wasn't that. It just happened to happen. Okay, but you've got Delvin Thomas, you've got Calais Campbell. The age thing with Calais Campbell is I already know. It's just like, well, he's old. It's like, dude, watch football. Ma'am, watch football. Okay? Everybody said that about Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson going into last season, and who was the one that was saying from day one, re-sign them? You're going to see that age is just a number when it comes to those two dudes. Calais Campbell's the same way. Okay? Brandon Graham played forever. Okay? A little bit of a different position, but Calais Campbell is 6'7", 300-plus pounds, and he is going to wreak havoc on opposing offensive lines like he has since he left Arizona the first time. But it's a nice to have. They've got a lot of guys. There are other spots where you could use one of their currently 6 draft picks on. Okay? Another nice to have, grown wide receiver. Now, adding wide receiver, which I'm sure they will. There are sneaky spots in this draft where you can get a wide receiver. One thing for me, and this is selfish, I'm going to you don't want to giggle like a schoolgirl that I wasn't expecting to say this today. I'm going to do a segment tomorrow on this. If they trade back in the first round and draft a wide receiver, I'd be cool with it. Like, if you're going to do that, just do it. Okay? As an option. That's the only, like, if you're going to draft a wide receiver, just take a stab in the third round or the fourth round. I get it, okay? Michael Wilson has been fine. I know that there's a lot of vitriol against Michael Wilson. I don't understand it. When the dude gets opportunities, he produces. I don't understand it. I know he was injured for a good chunk of his rookie season, but, like, Josh Dobbs, and then this past season, there were pockets. That's more on Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing getting other people involved, which I've discussed ad nauseum this offseason. If you move back in the first round and you draft Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State at like 25, it's like, okay, you know where Justin Jefferson went? Yeah, right around there. Okay, so it's like, I'll do a segment on that tomorrow. I've already talked enough about it. But like, that's where if you want to go bananas, if you want to go Looney Tunes and draft a wide receiver and move back in the first round, I would love that. I know that the Josh Weinfuss tweet, which I which I mentioned yesterday in a segment, a source that he said, I'm paraphrasing here. If you want, at Josh Weinfuss on Twitter, ESPN Arizona Cardinals writer does a great job over there. It has for a long time. I'm paraphrasing, okay? That somebody that he spoke to said, don't be surprised if the Arizona Cardinals sneak back into the back end of the first round after drafting at 16, moving up and drafting a quote-unquote developmental player. While that wouldn't be a receiver, we have no idea what the hell is going to happen in the first 20-plus picks. So a lot of things could change. You could have 3 wide receivers go in the top 20. We've seen it. We see it all the time. Jalen Milroe could go in the first round. We have no idea what the hell is going to happen, okay? But a nice to have for the Cardinals is wide receiver. I still think they're ready to rip from that position if they don't draft a wide receiver in this draft, okay? They brought Zay Jones back, got Marvin Harrison Jr., they got Michael Wilson, they got Greg Dortch, who signed his 1-year tender, and their wide receiver 1 is Trey McBride, okay? They've got more firepower than many teams already with that roster. So if they draft one, cool. But if you're going to draft one, go draft one. Not at 16, but if you want to make a move and draft a wide receiver, do it. But go get a dude, okay? Don't hope and pray that somebody's going to work out in the third round. That's just for me. Another nice to have would be safety. And this is the interesting part where it brings up the next conversation about Jaylen Thompson is like, the numbers are not offensive contract-wise for Jaylen Thompson, okay? And this is the time you draft the future free safety of the Arizona Cardinals, okay? Who may be able to play corner too. Like Cooper DeJean played both, I think, in college. Like if you can get a guy who plays free safety and corner and he can bolster that cornerback room in the 3rd or 4th round, and you're looking at, this is what really good teams do. This is what the Ravens do. It's like the movie Rockstar. Oh, I haven't talked about this in a long time. I don't know if I've talked about this since Bo and I were hosting years ago, but the movie Rockstar, for those that don't know, it's a Mark Wahlberg movie, doesn't really matter, where he's a super fan of a metal band. He goes and sees him. He's in the front row. He dresses the same as the lead singer of the metal band. And one day, the metal band lead singer just gives Mark Wahlberg the microphone. Mark Wahlberg gets up and takes over as the lead singer of the band. And he goes through the whole movie. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert from 20-plus years ago, there's another dude that was just like Mark Wahlberg standing in the front row, dressed like the lead singer, singing like the lead singer. Mark Wahlberg gives the microphone to the dude. He comes up, Mark Wahlberg retires, and that dude takes over the lead singer as the lead singer of the band. Like, that's what great teams do is they have their heir apparent back up for a year, 2 years, and then when that guy starts to taper off, who he replaces, you're moving in with maybe even a better version of that player who, has gone up there in age. And we may be a year early for that. We may be 2 years early for that. But a nice to have safety depth. If anything were to happen, you've got it. Now that goes in line with what I'm going to discuss next. And there's one more nice to have. I think an off-ball linebacker, probably. They don't have a whole lot of depth there. Mac Wilson goes down. The Cardinals are in pseudo trouble in the middle of the field. And as I've mentioned myriad times on this show, nothing can stop this locomotive this year. There's no excuses. They need to be prepared at every single position, whether it's injury, poor play, or anything in between, for them to continue to move forward. So off-ball linebacker, I think they need to draft one, unless they're going to bring one in, unless they're going to bring Kazir White in or C.J. Mosley. They got to do something. It's a very light room right now, unless you want to move Zaven Collins back there, which I didn't really work the first time. So that's another nice have. So there's 3 must-haves, 4 nice-to-haves. I kind of threw them all together because obviously they're not going to be able to draft every single position with only 6 picks. But we'll see what happens if they do end up moving back and not moving up and getting more picks like Monty Osford tends to do. But I'll tell you what, and this is the last thing I'll say until I do. I'll probably start first segment tomorrow with this is, if they want to move back into the first round and draft one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers, I'm in. With a coupling of 16 being an offensive lineman. Because then, like, if they get one of the top, I can't believe I'm talking about, like, I was not planning on talking about this. If they can get a top 3 or 4 wide receiver and an offensive lineman at 16, whoo, in, immediately in. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Should the Cardinals look into trading Jalen Thompson? Is it worth it? Does his play warrant the money he's going to be making next year under contract? Is he so important to the culture and the stability over the top that he has been over the last handful of years that you don't even think about it? We'll discuss it, all of it, next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Amazon Fire Stick. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and Avowed, and easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 2nd generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd generation, and Fire TV Cube 3rd generation. That's Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. I'm actually getting giddy about that. I might record that right now, right after this. This is where things get bonkers, man. Everything, especially in a draft like this, where there's like 3 dudes that could be generational, at least on paper, up until, there's always guys that pop at the NFL. We don't know if this is going to translate from the college game to the NFL game, and then they're all world. It's like, look at all the players that were drafted before this. What stupid GMs? It's like, no, nobody saw that coming. There's always dudes like that. And all of these guys are incredible athletes, incredibly smart. They're going to make but the middle class of this draft is vast. It's vast. So it begs the question, why would you trade up if you could get, as I talked about last week, a fringe first round pick at 47 with all of the wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, and quarterbacks going between, 1 and 46. I'm geeked, man. I'm geeked up. So when it comes to Jalen Thompson, let's go through the numbers first, okay? So there is an out in his contract now, okay? He was already given his $2 million signing bonus or $2 million roster bonus, which he was given on the 5th day of the new league year, which was in March, okay? So these are the numbers. He's got a base salary of $7 million this season. It's the $13 million cap hit. So a post-June 1 cut or trade, the numbers are the same, would leave the Cardinals with a $3.5 million dead cap hit, and it saves them $10 million. Okay? So there's a couple things in play here. One, let's talk about the draft specifically. If the Cardinals want to pick up a draft pick, you can offer Jalen Thompson for a draft pick. Now, what would that draft pick be? You would like to think it's a 4th rounder, but it's most likely a 5th. If it's a 5th or a 6th, it makes you question why you wouldn't just hang on to him. Okay? And then, let's talk about that first. Is a 5th round pick worth more to this team than Jalen Thompson? I say no, vehemently. Jalen Thompson is still a guy that Adrian Taylor-Demerson can learn from. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's ready, that Rabbit's ready to rock as a starting strong safety for this team alongside Budda Baker with the stakes as high as they are right now. I don't know. He could be. And we saw flashes of him really liking to hit people, which is good. He likes to hit people. He's a good run stuffer. Starling Thomas was, I wanted to mention this. Starling Thomas was a top 20 run stop grade guy from the cornerback position last year, which I was shocked about. So that's on me for not giving him more flowers throughout the season. And I will do better at that. I promise you that. But I don't know if Rabbit's going to be ready. Is a 5th round pick worth it? The Cardinals already have the cheese. They don't need let's dump $10 million. Now, if they want to make a move, if they're still looking to trade for Trey Hendrickson, or if they want to trade for Jalen Ramsey or something like that, that's $10 million that they could use. So in that sense, if it's one where it's going to be, a post-June 1 designation cut to open up salary cap space to trade for a Jalen Ramsey or something like that, that would make more sense. But the problem is the draft is 2 days from now, not June 1st. So obviously they can finagle things where the trade doesn't actually happen until post June 1, so the money will work out. But like if you're crunching all the numbers and you're saying, are the Arizona Cardinals better off with Jaylen Thompson, the $7 million base salary, the $13 million cap hit, which is nothing, and their 6 picks as currently constructed, or are they better trading Jaylen Thompson if they can get a 4th round pick and you save millions off the cap and you can make another move and bring in another free agent or trade for a guy? I just think that it's so close that Ty goes to keeping him. Unless there's an offer, unless you can package him in a trade for a player, which is so weird. It's like the NFL, it just doesn't. Like the NFL's like the NBA a lot in free agency now. And obviously there have been more player trades. Like, do you remember, this was what, 2002 or 2003? Somebody, McKenna, look it up for me. It's the Champ Bailey for Clinton Portis trade. It's like Champ Bailey traded from Washington to the Broncos for Clinton Portis, 1-for-1. What the hell are we doing? You can't trade players in the NFL. Like, I know the Herschel Walker thing happened a long time ago, but like the trades happen on draft day and it's for draft picks. And then now you can trade players and then everybody's getting traded now. So I just don't know if the juice would be worth the squeeze, especially with how well Jalen Thompson has played for the majority of his career with the Cardinals. He circumvented the injury bug more than not over the last couple of years, which was a knock on him early. Steve Keim, another great Steve Keim draft. They got him out of a supplemental draft in Washington State. Like, he's been great. He's been a great partner to Budda Baker more times than not. So is it overthinking by moving off of him just because you can with the out in his contract? I don't know. And after this, he's only got 1 more year on his contract. So it's like, do you extend him and chunk down on that cap number this year and give him an extra year? So you just move the out from the end of this year to the end of next year? I don't know. It's fascinating. And this is really like more inside baseball stuff. I don't think either way it's going to make a massive impact. Like, you're not trading Jalen Thompson for the number 2 overall pick. So it's like, I would rather them keep it simple and just keep him. And if Adrian Taylor Demerson outplays him, cool. You have a conversation then. He's not making enough to where it's handicapping the Cardinals from being able to do other things. And listen, they want to cut him post June 1. They'll save $10 million in cap space, and maybe they can go out and get somebody. I just don't think there's anybody else to get, especially because it's going to be 5 weeks after the draft's over. So I know that you can finagle that stuff where nothing actually comes into play, and you could do things like that. But I don't know. I think it's something that should be looked at. But if Jalen Thompson is an Arizona Cardinal next year, that's not a bad thing. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.